Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button, and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy! All right, folks, here we are on Tuesday, December 12th. We're going to take an updated look at Chargepoint. So, Chargepoint following that big gap down, that minus 35% day. It is now working itself back in to that gap. So a quick look at how we got here. Long distressed stock, right? Even has a gap all the way up here in the 6 to 7 range. And this puppy has just been under bearish control for a very long time. Now, most recent downtrend resistance was briefly broken. It hit this sort of range that we had put on the chart that we suspected was going to be a strong sell range. That played out, and it was so strong that it resulted in a 35% down day. I'm not saying that that zone actually caused a 35% down day. It's a kind of a joke. But in any case, so it put it back under the downtrend resistance. That said, to ChargePoint's credit, or ChargePoint Bull's credit, it scooted its way out of there, holding darn tightly to this like 194 level. Yes, it dipped all the way down here to 179, but it just had some very volatile days as it was getting itself out from under this downtrend resistance. It's sort of what you would anticipate. This is a descending triangle pattern where it comes up against this support level, and so it did what you'd typically expect a descending triangle to do, which push hard down through the support level. But then that's sort of even more kudos to how strong this push through the downtrend resistance was to pop right back up. It was like a little bobber, like when you go fishing. It came down and popped right back up. And now trying to build off of these levels and pushing now off of this like 240-ish level that we have on the chart. But this is the most important thing to me. It's in this gap at the moment. It's still in the gap. 219 is an entry into the gap, and then 303 fills the gap and is also a resistance level. So, of note here, I'm mostly looking for it to continue to build support over this 219 level, showing that it can maintain price movement and structure in the gap, which obviously is the way to give it an opportunity to fill that gap through 303. And if it can do that, that would be a huge percentage gain and would be a really impressive move, probably the most impressive move of anything that we've seen for a very long time, maybe since here. But in any case, it still puts that gap in the 6s very far away. I would suspect it would need some considerable catalysts to get itself there. But this is just to say it's in the gap. It's sort of trying at the moment to treat the gap entry as support, which is what you would want to see. And it's hitting all of the right levels. It's pushing off of this 240 level that we thought would be there. And then there's this 258 level that it hasn't quite gotten to yet. So we'll see if that's in the cards in the near future. And then, we didn't put every single little granular level in here. There will be one here around, say, 277. Probably. But otherwise that approach and that trying to hold 303 would fill that gap. So, there's a pathway, but the call out here is just it needs to continue to try to hold this gap for the time being. Best worst case scenario, or worst best case scenario, I don't know, one way or the other, is it loses the gap but reconfirms support like at or above 204. So maybe it comes down to 204, maybe it only needs to come down like 210, 212, something like that, and then reemerges its push. That's certainly a possibility as well. Now flipping over here to the Think or Swim study, we see histogram trying to die off the bearish momentum. Still has a bit of a ways to go there, right? It still is potentially like it would have been, around here, a few candles away from getting that back to the baseline. But if it can do it, for the Chargepoint bulls, hopefully there'd be more of a bullish push on the histogram than this. But first things first, it needs to die off the rest of this bearish momentum. And it's doing it right at the mid-range of the channel. What would be super interesting to me is if at some point, as it's trying to pin itself to the mid-range of the channel here, if it continues to do that, that it puts in some trigger candles. If that starts to happen, then we might see some real possibility of, big outsized motion coming up. But that we'll just have to wait and see. That, of course, may not take shape. But struggling with the mid-range of the channel, trying to die off the bearish momentum, sort of, again, what you'd want to see for a long distress stock, trying to find some footing from which to build, price action off of. So we'll see how that sort of takes shape and sort of what comes of it in the days ahead. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.